Hello, this is L5, and today we are on not BTD battles, but BTD 5 sandbox mode. And this is because I am doing a test on the effective Moab popping power of these 6 towers right here. So we have the Grape shot boat, the 2-3 bomb, Moab Mauler, the Bloonjitsu, 14 ninja, 0-0 ninja spam, 3-0 tacks spam, and 1-3 factories. Now, I'm going to be testing all of these individually to see which is the most cost-efficient Moab popping power. We're going to start off with the, Moab Maulers. Now, the cost that I'm looking to approximate with these tests is $15,000. So for $15,000, you can get 5 Moab Maulers. Now 5 Moab Maulers actually cost $14,250, which is a little bit under the estimate price that I'm aiming for, but it's close enough where all these tests will be comparable. So first we're going to test the ZMG popping power, and yeah. Alright, so the ZMG layer has been popped, and it looks like the Moab Maulers are actually getting through quite a few, well, all of the Moab layers. It was all down to ceramics by the end. So overall that's pretty impressive, but how will they do versus grouped things? That was one ZMG. What about a bunch of BFBs? That's what we're going to find out right here. Alright, so even though I forgot to put these all on strong, they did take down every single Moab layer. So I'm going to put them on strong right now. And now we're going to test Moabs, spaced Moabs actually, to see how it fares against these. For example, like round 40. So it looks like once it reaches a certain point, they are all getting destroyed about right here. So pretty much, good job Moab Maulers, you did your job. It's in your name, Moab Mauler. I would hope you can pop Moabs. Anyways, so moving on to the next test, which is going to be Bloonjitsus. So for $15,000, or approximately $15,000, you can afford 3 Bloonjitsus. Now, this is actually $16,050, so it's a little bit over, but not enough to be worried about. And let's see how it does versus a ZMG. Alright, so it looks like the Bloonjitsus just barely popped the ZMG layer. It was all the way at the end. And didn't pop any of the BFBs, and yeah, just generally not as good as the Moab Maulers. But let's see how it does versus grouped BFBs. I'm gonna send a bunch of those. And let's see. Alright, so overall, just not the best grouped popping power for Moab class Bloons. So let's see how they do versus spaced Moabs. Alright, so they did eventually get overrun. So overall, Bloonjitsus are not the best Moab popping power for your cost. So moving on to the next thing, which is going to be 0-0 ninja spam. So for $15,000, exactly $15,000, you can get 30 0-0 ninjas. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's half, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, let's see how it does versus a single ZOMG. Alright, so the ZOMG layer has been popped. It's down to BFBs, but the ninjas are not going to pop any of the BFB layers. They're just going to pop the ZOMG layer a bit later than the Moab Maulers, which are the thing to compare to at this point. So far they're the best. And let's see how the ninjas do versus grouped BFBs. So as you can see, 0-0 ninja spam is absolute crap versus grouped BFBs. Now let's see how they do versus spaced Moabs. As you can see, they're even worse for that. Look like they only got popped the last few ones when I stopped sending them. So 0-0 ninjas are not good Moab popping power at all. You'd be better off with the 4-2 ninjas, to be honest. So moving on, the next thing we are going to test is the 3-0 tack. 3-0 tack is a pretty recent development in Moab popping power, and for $15,000, well, $15,070, you can afford 11 3-0 tacks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So versus ZMG, let's see how it fares. And it looks like the ZMG layer is now popped. Now, it didn't pop any of the BFBs. Well, not yet. Looks like it might. It will not. Alright, so the BFBs were damaged a bit, but not popped. So with the 3-0 attacks, they do a lot of damage in a very short range. So, yeah, let's see how they do versus grouped BFBs. Alright, so it's even worse than 0-0 ninja spam. We only popped, I think, 2 BFBs with that, down to Moabs, which is really sad. I was really expecting more. Not that I was expecting it to pop every single BFB, but I was expecting more than at least 2. Anyways, let's see how they do versus spaced Moabs. Alright, it looks like 3-0 attack spam does excellently versus spaced Moabs, even better than the Moab Maulers, which is really good for the 3-0 attack. Anyways, so we're going to move on to the next tower to test, which is going to be probably my favorite, the Moab Shredder Spikes. Now, you can't really get exactly $15,000 worth of these. 2 of these are worth $13,000, so keep in mind this is $2,000 less expensive. Let's see how it does versus a ZOMG. Alright, so the ZMG didn't even make it halfway through the spikes. So, good job for the Moab Shutter Spikes. Again, it is in the name. You'd expect it to be pretty good at popping the Moab layer. So I'm just going to get rid of these Bloons. And now let's see how it does versus the grouped BFBs. So as you can see, it's not doing great. The grouped BFBs, you really need the splash damage that the Moab Maulers provide. And yeah, it looks like the Bloons were just popping through all the spikes, and you can't really do anything to prevent that with factories. And yeah, a few more got popped on the other bend. But yeah, just going to technological tear these away so we can test the next thing. Whoop. Sorry, almost forgot the Space Moabs. So let's see how they do versus Space Moabs. So it looks like these spike factories can keep up with Space Bloons as long as there's nothing layering underneath it to get rid of the spikes, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. And yeah. So moving on to the Grape Shot boats, and for $15,000 you can't actually fit that many boats on this map, so we're going to hop over to Ice Flow, just because Ice Flow is a cool map. Ice is cool. Haha. Hilarious. Anyways, so you can afford 15 Grape Shot boats. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm going to put these all on strong and up to Grape Shot. Whoops. And yeah, so lots of strats in battles use Grape Shot boats as their main Moab popping power, early game and late game. So, well, not early game, I guess mid game and late game. But let's see how the Grape Shots actually do versus a ZOMG. So the entire ZOMG leaks through there, which means that Grape Shot boats actually aren't that good. They're actually not as efficient as pretty much anything else versus ZOMGs. That's kind of surprising, as I thought with so many people using them as Moab popping power, they should do a little better, right? Guess not. Let's see how they do versus grouped BFBs, even though it's kind of irrelevant for battles, as you'd be mostly looking to do the boat pulls on them anyways. But just for the sake of the experiment, we're going to try it out. Alright, so versus the grouped BFBs, they weren't awful. Like, we've definitely seen worse, but they were not the best either. Clearly they didn't even pop all of the BFBs. But anyways, let's see how they do versus the Spaced Moabs. So you can see they did pop most of them, which is pretty decent. We've seen worse, but we've seen better as well. So, I mean, Grape Shot boats, they're just decent all around. They don't really have a strong point or a weak point. They're just kind of there. And yeah, so we're going to hop back over to the other map. And yeah. Alright, so we are back on this map, and I'm just going to summarize everything that we've done in our tests. The 0-0 ninja spam is pretty garbage. You should never use that unless you have no other options. 4-2 ninjas are also pretty bad, especially versus grouped BFBs and such. Probably grouped Moabs as well, just because their Pierce isn't very good. 3-0 tacks are pretty excellent versus the spaced Moabs and the really big spaced Bloons, but pretty garbage versus the grouped blimps. So boats are pretty decent all around. No, there's nowhere where they're outstanding, nowhere where they're outstandingly bad. And Moab Maulers are just great all around. And spike factories are good versus spaced Moabs and really big blimps like ZOMGs. So that concludes this video, and if you want to see more videos like this testing out, say, balloon popping power or something like that, leave a comment in the not in the description, leave a comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.